Let's talk about your tweeting, if we could. You've attacked recently McCain, the FBI, Democrats. Is there a method to the attacks, or is it just venting?
No method, really. It's not venting either. But, you know, I felt badly when a young man dies and John McCain said that was a failed mission. According to General Mattis, it was a very successful mission. They had a lot of information, a lot of different things that they really wanted to get. And I thought it was inappropriate. And I thought it was inappropriate that he goes to foreign soil and he criticizes our government. I just think that's just inappropriate. And, you know, people have to be careful with that. People really have to be careful with that. But it does allow me to go around dishonest media. I don't have to go around you folks. I don't have to go around a lot of the media. But I do have to go around some media, and it does allow me to do that because the following is so large. Between Twitter and Facebook and all of the different things, I have so many millions of people. It allows me to give a message without necessarily having to go through people where I'm giving them a message and they're putting it down differently from what I mean.
A lot of people like it. They say you're tough. They're glad you're going after people when they attack you. But you have people on both sides of the aisle that are saying you're going after your enemies on Twitter. They want you to stop it. Will you?
Well, most of the people that want me to stop it are the enemies, I'll be honest with you. The enemies would like me to stop it. If I felt the media were honest, all of it, or most of it, I wouldn't do it. But it is a modern-day form of communication, especially when you have, you know, tens of millions of people like I have.
Mr. President, you mentioned John McCain mentioning that young man who died, the Navy SEAL who died in that mission. His father has said that he didn't want to talk to you. Your reaction to that?
Well, this was a mission that was started before I got here. This was something that was, you know, just they wanted to do. They came to see me. They explained what they wanted to do, the generals, who are very respected. My generals are the most respected that we've had in many decades, I believe. And they lost Ryan. And I was at the airport when the casket came in, the body came in, and it was a very sad with the family, and it's a great family, incredible wife and children. I met most of the family. And I can understand people saying that. I'd feel, you know, I'd feel, what's worse? There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse. But again, this was something that they were looking at for a long time doing. And according to General Mattis, it was a very successful mission. They got tremendous amounts of information.
Can we talk about President Obama? You said you personally get along with him. You guys were going at each other for 3 or 4, maybe 8 years. It turns out his organization seems to be doing a lot of the organizing to some of the protests that a lot of these Republicans are seeing around the country and against you. Do you believe President Obama is behind it? And if he is that a violation of the so-called unsaid President's Code?
No, I think he is behind it. I also think it's politics. That's the way it is. And look, I have a very different agenda.
Bush wasn't going after Clinton. Clinton wasn't going after Bush.
Well, you never know what's exactly happening behind the scenes. You know, you're probably right or possibly right, but you never know. No, I think that President Obama is behind it because his people are certainly behind it. And some of the leaks possibly come from that group. You know, some of the leaks, which are really very serious leaks because they're very bad in terms of national security. But I also understand that's politics, and in terms of him being behind things, that's politics, and it will probably continue.
Does that disappoint you? Don't you think that goes beyond what we usually do in this country?
I don't use the word disappoint. I'm not really surprised because I understand the way the world works. It's politics. I mean, I'm changing things that he's wanted to do. I mean, we're much tougher in terms of getting the bad guys out. You know, people don't realize he deported a lot of people. But we're focused on the bad people. We're focused on the drug lords and the gang members. We're focused on a very, very bad group that are in this country that we're getting out rapidly. He was much less focused on that.
Let's focus on family.
Yeah.
Melania, or the First Lady, and Barron, they're about 300 miles away. Are
well, they're
you
actually here right now.
Are you missing them?
I do. Well, Melania is actually in charge of the whole evening for the governors, and we had 46 governors, which is, I believe, the record, or just about, but I think it's the record. We had a tremendous turnout of governors, and she did a fantastic job, and she's here now, but we want to let Barron finish his school year It's hard to take somebody out of school with a couple of months to go.
At that age.
It's very tough.
Can we talk about what Nancy Pelosi said yesterday? Here we are on the cusp of your first major speech, and the question was, what has he done? He's done nothing. He says he's put, it said he put Wall Street first, he made America sick, and he instilled fear in immigrants. Those are your accomplishments. What's your response to her?
Well, I've been watching Nancy's statements, and I think she's incompetent, actually. You know, if you look at what's going on with the Democrats and the party, it's getting smaller and smaller. You know, in a certain way, I hate to see it because I like a two-party system, and we're soon going to have a one-party system. I actually think a two-party system is healthy and good, but she's done a terrible job.
So she's wrong.
Well, I don't think she's a good spokesman. She's certainly wrong. There are those that say I've done more than anybody in 100 days. Hey, look, just at the money I've saved billions and billions of dollars. I brought Ford back from Mexico. Ford was going with a massive plant. I brought Fiat in. I'm bringing in all these incredible countries. You've been reading about them on a daily basis. They're all pouring back into our country. I mean, there are those that are saying that I've done just about more than anybody. Now, when you add our health care that's going to be coming out soon and will be a really good health care as opposed to Obamacare, which is a total mess. If you add the tax cuts that we're going to be doing as soon as we finish health care, that'll come out very soon, the big tax cuts for business and for people, for middle class, tremendous cuts, and for everybody. I think that, you know, I think I've done just about more than anybody in the first 4 weeks.
What's the one thing about this job which you've thought about for a very long time that now that you've got it, surprised you? It's like, I didn't realize that.
Well, it started off being a surreal experience. You know, you wake up and you're in the White House, or you're walking through the front door and it's the White House and all of that. But you do get over that. I think the one thing that hits me even more than anything else is the magnitude of everything. The numbers are so big. You buy an airplane, but here you're buying 3,500 airplanes. The size of the numbers are really staggering.
And what about the people who are
didn't
counting on you all across the country
well,
and around the world?
The love is great, and I saw a poll where I was at 45 or 46%, but one of the things they said is that the level of enthusiasm for me is as strong as they've ever seen. In other words, that's a real group of people. You know, you have other people, they have a poll, but if they sneeze in the wrong direction, everybody disappears.
But the protesters are also there, and they have not subsided. What's your reaction?
Well, they are there, and many of them are the ones that lost the election. Now, with all of that being said, I'm going to try and bring people together. And the way you do that is through success. When I create jobs, when I create a health care plan that works as opposed to Obamacare, which does not work, when we do the kind of things, when we get rid of a lot of bad players, really bad players that we're doing right now on the border, people are loving what General Kelly is doing, I will tell you. I think that will change. But a lot of the people that are protesting are the people that lost the election.
What grade would you give yourself from an A to an F?
Well,
I think I know what you're going to say.
Well, let's hear it.
I think, yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. I think in terms of effort, which means something, but I give myself an A+. Okay, effort. But that's, you know, results are more important. In terms of messaging, I would give myself a C or a C+.
Why?
So my messaging isn't good. When I see a story about Donald Trump didn't fill hundreds and hundreds of jobs, that's because in many cases we don't want to fill those jobs.
You have 600 open jobs, though, that you can appoint. What's going on?
Well, a lot of those jobs I don't want to appoint because they're unnecessary to have. You know, we have so many people in government. Even me, I look at some of the jobs, and it's people over people over people. I say, what do all these people do? You don't need all those jobs. Now, they'll be filled.
You're cutting.
Oh,
Those slots are not going to be.
You know, it's funny. That's what I mean about messaging. You have to fill hundreds of jobs.
No idea that you didn't want to fill them.
Oh, many of those jobs I don't want to fill. I say, isn't that a good thing? That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. We're running a very good, efficient government. Now, in terms of achievement, I think I'd give myself an A because I think I've done great things, but I don't think I and my people, I don't think we've explained it well enough to the American public. I think I get an A in terms of what I've actually done, but in terms of messaging, I'd give myself a C or a C+.
All right, how are you going to change that then?
Well, maybe I change it during the speech.